if I really manifest boldness in the way that we talked about it today? Does anybody really mind that? Can I do that with you today? Can we really talk to one another? You know, I travel all across the country, and I live here in Southern California, and I love to be home. I love to be home. Bill Osgood and I were in Detroit just last week. And next week I've got to go to Atlanta, but I love being home, and I love being in the house of the Lord and at Joseph Business School. So if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of deviate away from the microphone and just talk to you. Do I need the hand mic? No. She says yes. Are you recording me? Yes. Oh. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. That's going to distract me a little bit. Can you hear me from where I am on the mic?
We're not picking up.
Oh my goodness. All right.
So start with bold.
I'll start with bold. When I was in graduate school, we talked about the need for boldness. And today we need it more than ever. We keep hearing about what's going on in our economy. And I'm going to tell you, Joseph Business School graduates, that's on your shoulders. It is up to you to step forward and make a significant economic impact from wherever you are. That's the responsibility that you have. And we always know, anybody ever heard this? If you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. Well, our graduates today already know that. And that's why they've attended Joseph Business School, to fine-tune their skills, to make sure that they have something different to offer, to make sure that they have something magnificent to offer, to make sure that they understand how to develop solutions and walk boldly into the marketplace and provide those solutions. Now let me give you some practical information about providing solutions. If you go to the doctor and you don't allow the doctor to touch you, and you don't talk to the doctor about your symptoms, but you expect the doctor to cure you, how much success are you going to have? That's the same thing about customers. If you go to a customer and you have not studied that customer, and you don't know the goals and the mission of that customer, and you've not taken a look at their annual report, how can you really serve the needs of that customer? How will they choose you over another vendor? And to tell you a little secret, that's the way to differentiate yourself. Because many businesses are in business just for themselves. But if you really want to offer a solution to someone, you go in and you say, listen, I know you just won a large contract with the federal government, and I've taken a look at that RFP and that contract, and I see that there's a need for communication services. David. And you see that that RFP specifically outlines the very services that you have. Now you have something to offer. Another secret. If you cannot talk to your customer from 3 different perspectives, return on investment, incremental increase in market share, strategic market advantage. And here's how that goes. The return on your investment by working with me versus someone else, because we've done our studying right, it's going to be maybe 35% as opposed to somebody else. And if you work with me, I can actually commit to you an incremental increase in market share. I can help to expand your market because I have relationships within a community that you may not have. And if you do business with me, because I am a small business and the federal government touts small business, then you will have a strategic market advantage. So, return on investment, incremental increase in market share, and strategic market advantage. Now there's a story I'd like to talk about there. Peter Goober wrote a book called Tell the Story. And in that book, he tells a story about meeting Magic Johnson. And he says, at the time, he was an executive vice president at Sony. And he said, I didn't know what they wanted to talk about. Magic Johnson and Kenny Lombard were coming in to talk. I didn't know what the heck they wanted to talk about. But I didn't care because I wanted to meet Magic Johnson. I didn't care what they wanted. I was going to grant them the meeting. And he said, I was so surprised because when I came in, when they walked in, they didn't have a piece of paper. They didn't have any fancy charts. They didn't have a PowerPoint presentation. They just walked in. And I was so giddy, he says, because Magic Johnson was sitting there. But then Kenny Lombard started to talk. And he said, we've done some study about Sony, and you're in this large conglomerate, and we've taken a look at how you really approach the marketplace. And your modus operandi says that you go into markets, traditionally, where people have an abundance of income, but not a place to spend it. And you go into a marketplace where there virtually is no competition because nobody else has figured out how to get there. He said, if we could test, and Peter Gruber said, oh, you know what, that's right. You've done some homework. That's exactly how we approach the marketplace. And they said, if we could show you an area or a country where that's taking place right now, where the people have a disposable income that hasn't been tapped into, and where nobody else is there in the marketplace, would you be interested? He said, well, heck yeah, I'd be interested. That means more money for us. He said, where is that? What country is that? And they said, South Central Los Angeles. That's how the Magic Johnson's Theaters and the Magic Johnson Starbucks were born. Because they saw a void in the marketplace and understood, and guess what? They didn't have to spend a lot of their own money either. That's the very best way to do it. You don't have to spend your own money, but you find a way to solve a problem for someone else. And we can do that. We can do it all the time. I have to look at my notes.